Welcome, guys, to our fourth series of our training, theories of practical farm income generation. We are going to look at how to build implementing farm income up to $10 million. This is our 17th masterclass under our futuristic farm series on transformation of food production. You're welcome. This is Dennis Waiswa taking you through. We put our commercials up. We are saying we're doing work on a farm. So this is a farm office. So when you hear some strange noises, could be a cow, could be what, just don't mind it. It's just a farm office. Number two is we're using this training as our crowdfunding. So the whole lot of these trainings, those are 5 trainings plus a paper, will cost you $30. So be part of supporting our course. You can move to our website www.sedepreneur.com, press the donate button. You can go through our projects. So when you take in our product like this training, you go through that program or our website. Just press donate. You can pay your $30 with anything, with any currency, including Bitcoins, anything, any currency will be taken care of. So just do that as we start. We're starting in a bit. Remember to subscribe to this page so that you can get many other trainings like these ones. So we are moving to number 13 on our ways to make $10 million on the farm. Now number 13 is time. Look at time as money value. In many activities, time may be an input under the farmer's control. This, in terms of decision making, and these are variable decisions that need to be manipulated by the farmer through his or her choices of length of time, of exertion, and running production processes, etc. So setting parameters around your time and interaction as you work on your farming business is important, because even the most talented and driven farmers tend to become derailed by poorly managed workplace dynamics. And we know there are only 24 hours in a day, and maybe you and your team can only accomplish so much during the 8 or 9 hours that you actually work. So if you decide to overload your team, these people will be forced to multitask. And multitasking, as you know, it is a myth. It is overwhelming and leads to mistakes and lower quality work in the long term. So what are you going to do? Determine clear results. Find opportunities to leverage. Set goals with specific deadlines, determine who can take on additional tasks, isolate management plans so that you can work better. And generally work with timelines. Now timelines are used to identify work schedules and determine when cash inflows and outflows will occur, so that accurate assessments can be made. And we can see that the timeline with 5 time periods may represent maybe years, months, days, or any length of time as long as the time periods are the same. Now, the second principle relevant to optimal use of time is that for processes activities whose time length is at the discretion of the farmer, his or her choice will be optimal when the present value of the activity's marginal profit per unit of time is equal to the amortized flow of profit which could be obtained by allocating that last unit of time to the best available alternative activity, which may be new or run of the same activity. So we see that the current perspective is required if all past and likely future events can be ignored, can be addressed to a task or ignored and attention restricted to what happens to the activity in the immediate time or immediate few months of the year. Because money has a time value and it gives rise to the concept of interest. And then we can look and say this generally means that interest can be is the rent for your money. So whatever decisions you're taking on your farm, they have to hold value in terms of money to you and your farm. They have to carry you. Number 14, I'll ask you another question. I've asked many questions. How do you keep your money? And here we are talking about project sustainability. Because if you want to make money on your farm, you have to know how to keep it. And how do you tell that your farming business is losing money? Let's talk about the warning signs. Let's talk about the warning sign. Number A, we are talking about you realize that you have a lack of money on the farm generally. Then you'll be relentlessly firefighting issues on the farm. Because that is a warning sign of lack of money. Then you'll have strains that are evident of drought. Drought meaning that you're putting in money every day in the farm, but you're not drawing out, you're not getting money from the work being done on the farm. There is a siphon. Then there will also be a lack of scalability. This could be numerical. You could look at it in numerical values. Let's say we've got farms that have been farming, that started with 50 animals and have been farming for say 4 years, but still kind of have like 80 animals. So if you look at the time and the scalability in farming, it becomes a bit problematic. You can tell that your farm is going under. The financial address on your farm is in itself a slippery social concept which is both obvious and invisible. And this highlights the overt manifestations of revenue that gradually stifle production and organization. So you would want to be keen on where your money is made and spent on your farm. And I cannot emphasize this. The first skill you need when you're learning to make money is learning how to keep it. Because there are many folks who have made thousands of dollars a year on their farm. They kind of wind up with nothing to show for their work. So take a long hard look at your spending habits. It's not time to be overly generous when you are growing your farm. And I like this because the greatest thing about being financially stuck is that it makes you become serious about stuff. Build up your skill of learning how to keep money by working with budgets because your budget is your permission to spend. And I don't know where you come from, but I know that no one has infinite money in this world. But our farm employees unfortunately think that we do have that kind of money. And you also need to know that there are limits to what the things that your farms can do or the things that you can do on your farm. So if you want to make money, you have to respect that. So what I'm going to advise you now is allow yourself to advance your money reach. Allow yourself to grow and rejuvenate your farm's accounting system because if you don't do that, there's no way around it. So you're going to do this by acquiring a new skill set in maybe sales and marketing, especially closing, duplication of productive processes will also can help you get out of debt, and it will also help you change your story. I'm number 15. I hope it won't rub you the wrong way, but spirituality is very important in making money. I'm just asking you to do right with your God. For us here, we call it getting on the great peril. Obviously, the other side to it is ambivalence, heightened by isolation from spirituality and dependence on self. That is a no-go area. When you practice your faith, when you serve in your church, in your small church, when you donate, like this course, we are giving back, then we are building communities. When you are faithful to your obligations to people, in your local church, in your mosque, it builds a kind of humility that sustains wealth. It opens more doors to wealth and kind of protects your earning. Further still, facing adversity and insurmountable odds on your farm calls for some level of spirituality from farmers so that they don't feel overwhelmed and quit. Trauma and difficulty in farming business are building blocks for mental and physical fortitude. So you'll go through some issues in your farming life. It helps when you are a spiritual being. I'll give you an example. Today, men and women are battling the damaging effect of lack of money that establishes such an important standard of physical perfection. That's on the one hand. And then the other, money gurus are losing cash in billions of dollars in an eye wink. And they're wondering how to keep their accrued wealth. And the motto is simple. It's a simple one. A man or woman who can escape from his economic and social tribulations by just winning the love of his God with trust. And we're talking about all faiths. I'm assuming the ones I know. So I'm going to ask you to read with me James 1 verses 2 to 4, James 1 verses 5 to 18, James 1 5, chapter 1 verse 5, James chapter 1 verse 8, James chapter 5 verse 4, Leviticus chapter 19 verse 13, James 5 3. And conform to the promise. The promise is, come you who were blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you. And this promise is under Matthew 25, verses 34. Now I'm reading NIV, the NIV version. So that's all. That will encompass everything about spirituality. I am not good at other faiths, so I won't attempt to handle anything the other side. But you need spirituality to grow, to be formidable in the business. Then we go to compounding. Number 17, compounding. And we realize that the way to get unstuck is to actually get unstuck. It's kind of like change of scenery or losing weight again. You can't keep talking about it. I'll ask you this question, and you have to be serious, and you give me a serious answer. Have you noticed that the people who make the most money around you, and I'm talking about your residential area nearest to your local town, they are not even from around there. They have to move from wherever they reside or come from to come to your small local center every day to make the money while you toss and turn in your slumber, or while you drive up to another center to try to look for money that's not even coming. And you also notice that the food that gets sold in your local town also comes from miles away. I'm asking this simple question so that you kind of open your mind. I'll ask you one last question. How do you think money is made? And this is where I ask you to be present and let it slide. Just be present. Now, we are back to compounding. You remember how we talked about compounding in the past session, where we talked about 2050 and how you could tap into it. Compounding is the impact of time value of money. It is the time value of money over multiple periods into the future, where the interest is added, where the interest is added to the revenue amount. So we shall see that compounding is, in its unassuming and most usual form, a practice of taking some initial amount of present value forward in time to find the future amount. Which is equivalent to it over time. So the procedure of taking some initial sum through time to find its future equivalence can be applied to a wide range of of projects in farming. So you can use this when you're plotting your 5, 10 year project plans for your greenhouse, your crop, etc. And for this to work very well, you need to, it assumes that you're going to leave your interest earned each year with your investment rather than withdrawing it to consume it or to spend it elsewhere. And when you do this, size of your investment will grow. And at a certain point, it will grow exponentially. That's why I told you that making the first is really hard, the first million. Making 5 is going to be hard. But when you come away from 5, you also have the effect of compounding. You're going to see that it's going to get easier and easier as you make bigger sums of money. This is because it's just because you're earning interest on your investment. And then we're seeing that as the amount grows, the size of your investment will also grow. But we have to note that the interest or the effect of compounding is great where size is also big. That's why we're encouraging farmers to do bigger investments. Because the larger the interest rate, the greater the impact of compounding. Number 17, and this is interesting on my part. You're going to need to learn to start making, you need to learn to start making your own money again. Because I know people stifling you with your past, and that's why we are calling people to be present. Don't cling to your past because it will kill your future. So we know that success is built on a pile of failures. So it is okay for you to make your own money. We are talking about your own money, not your employers, not your wife's, not your husband or extended family money, because that's what people are doing now. They have cringed in the corner and they're looking at this model money. They're saying, okay, let's handle this as it comes. Let's see. My wife is making some money, so let's do that as conditions become better, because sometimes they don't. So allow yourself to make your own money. I'll tell you this, the devil has launched such an attack on families lately, creating an influx of new gender bending roles and men who are all burnt out due to the session of failures and disappointments. And these men have begun to question the value of lots of what they had previously accepted, and they kind of have switched off. Now, no one can help you when you switch off, when you decide to destroy your life with circumstances, because if you look closely, when times become hard, these hard times have developed more efficient people. And this training is supposed to help you discover that you don't need to look outside for investment. You first need to work on your psyche. So I'm asking you, because the only thing that is killing the psyche of men or women is is usually, and it's what the Western world handles with the 5 second rule. You fight your mindset within the first 5 seconds of an action. If you say you're going to do something, the mind will want to protect you from the unknown. So it will create procrastination. It is going to create defensivism. It is going to create. So what you do is that some people use the habit of counting back. Say 10, 9, 5. You try to trick the mind into a position where you can be able to go ahead into what you wanted to do. And once you beat those 5 seconds, you're good to go. You're good to go. So before you hear from another person procrastinating, that it is easier for your mind to pull you down without your knowledge. You have to, like we said, you have to plan your pitfalls. That's why many people never do anything, because the mind is supposed to keep you there, to keep you at par. Now, if you want to become a high performer, you have to move to another level, to have some kind of, that is what we call sacrifice. And again, I keep going back to losing weight, that the moment you wake up in the morning and you have to go for a walk, and part of growing in business is being healthy. So that's why I keep going back there. Your mind will tell you, well, the weather is bad, well, it's raining, well, you can get knocked down in the road, well, so you have to beat your mind at some of the things, because it is a struggle. Now, my research, which aligns with facts from various sources, scientists suggest that men and women, and we're talking about farmers, they draw their multitude of small expressive victories and achievements. Inspiration. They draw inspiration on these small expressive victories and achievements. And this inspiration helps them to conjure, to thrive, to conjure passion, which passion kind of spurs continuity and manifests confidence. I'm talking about the subculture of independent women and masculine men. It is around, and while these look macho, adolescent, even trivial, it's no secret how this kind of farmers put up a good fight in the fields and are pretty unstoppable. So allow yourself to get those small successes that will conjure passion you need to get out there and be unstoppable. Because these guys, they've got such great energy, resilience, and courage. They kind of gloves off all the time, 24/7. And of course, the flip side, and the old dogs who were just there, who got an answer to everything, but kind of in still mode. They accomplish nothing. It's happening now. Now we're starting to get to the sweet part, and that's what I want about being an entrepreneur. And this is why I love being an entrepreneur. We are going to the market number 18, the markets. And we are telling the farmers that you have no rights to anything in the farming business. Especially now with the withering of strong cooperatives, regional central trade parks. They look at an explicit relationship between performance and income. Kind of suggests that there is no obvious sustained effort to scale earnings of individual farmers. And we know today all farmers can hope for is an opportunity to farm, placing on them an obligation to kind of persist in the marketplace. Today farmers should understand that markets do not exist or consist of series of self-contained fair functioning in an isolation of each other. They should understand that the markets you're seeing are an interlocking of systems in which anything happening in one market has profound effect and could influence other markets and sectors. We are talking about consistency across the divide. So what am I saying? I'm saying farmers cannot continue falling in and out of market structures and expect to put up a formidable front. This would then be maybe savage impulses. And that's why we have a lot of middlemen in our farm markets, because farmers think they can go to the field to produce cattle and come back in the market, say after 3 years, sell maybe 2 or 3 trucks of cattle and be out of commission for the next year, then come back in the market and sell 1 truck of cattle. And you can't grow this way. You can't make 10 million doing this. Number 18, policy. Governments need to prioritize the uptake of international guidance and frameworks or international trade pacts, because these seek to tackle many farmers' problems. What this means is governments need to adopt frameworks to regional and national contexts and from there just incorporate these principles into policy and practice. Government they could also take the opportunity to update their own existing local and regional guidelines in line with new emerging issues and trends that are influencing or impacting the intensive use of land by farmers to spark competitive farming. So there's some things that you do as a farmer, and there's a portion of policy that you need to talk to your government about. But it doesn't take away from your ability to make 10,000 or $10 million. But what this is that even at the point of making $10 million, you have to keep going, you have to grow bigger. We talked about farms that are doing this in billions. So if your farm or your company is choosing to go big, you have to really go big. Now, we are going to end this session here. We are coming back with the most juicy part of our training, and that's how I'll show you in numbers how you can get to make $10 million on your farm in the next training. What I'm asking you now is quickly go subscribe to my channel so that you can get these trainings impromptu. Please share widely so that we can have this message go around. You're my part of relationship. Money is about making relationships. So I'm trying, I'm building my side. Uh, then go to www.sendapregnanthelper.com and place your $30 for this training. Remember, this training encompasses 5 trainings. This is training number 4. We are going to training number 5 to conclude this training. So, and a paper. So if you have not understood anything, you ask for the paper, or you'll get it down in the comment section, and you can actually print it and go through it phase by phase. We usually, with our trainings, we usually have a paper going with them. So you'll find that it's not exactly what I said, but it's surmounted. It is an amount of everything I've told you. So it's a good thing to have the paper. So go there, press the donation button, and pay the $30. Or you can pay on mobile money on 256-780-631-895 or 256-702-1541-99. But all these payment options, including the account, are in your comment section. So you can look there to make the payment. Support our program. Go and see the programs we're doing on ground. So support our program by buying this training and go through it. Keep going through it. There are some people who will not understand it today. There are some people who are already past where we are. There are some people who will get this understanding 4 years from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, because the mindset is not yet there. But they'll get this understanding because in their subconscious something was planted about big, hard numbers in farming. And that's a good thing. So whichever day you choose to win, you're going to win. You don't need a runway to have this going. You start where you are, as long as your vision is big somehow. And we are going to keep going more in farming like we've been doing for the past years. This is Dennis Waiswa signing off. I wish you well. See you in the next training.